Hello and welcome to Angelo's Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing the concert I saw yesterday. That was Sunday 12th of April 2026 at the Royal Festival Hall in London, featuring pianist Bruce Leo, the Philharmonia Orchestra conducted by Bancroft. The programme I thought was really diverse. We had a bit of English music, some French music, and then some Russian music, and there were three different musical languages going on, and I thought it was a very unique choice of pieces. The first piece on the programme was the 4C Interludes from Benjamin Britten's opera Peter Grimes. Now I thought the Philharmonia really executed this well. The Philharmonia, well, they're a British orchestra of course, and in my view, British orchestras can play British music the best, in my opinion. They just got like the right sound and character about it, and I was very impressed with the playing overall. I thought the first interlude, which was Dawn, was very moving. The nice harp features and the clarinet features, and the really warm and brooding and ominous brass really gave it a unique character. I thought the second interlude, Sunday Morning, was very quirky and playful, which is what's meant to be, and Bancroft really brought out those characteristics. The third interlude, Moonlight, I thought was very moving, and in a way it pictures like waves hitting the tide of the sea, you know, the sea hitting the tide. And it's very, it's use of imagery going on in this particular movement. And the fourth movement, Storm, I thought was thrilling. I've heard some performances that are quite stodgy, actually, some recent performances. But I thought this one, Bancroft really let the orchestra get loose, if that makes sense. Everyone really gave it their all in this movement. One unusual thing I found about the Storm interlude in Bancroft's performance was when the trombones have their feature where it goes ba 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 bum ba 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 ba, and the trumpets get that as well. I noticed Bancroft was doing an accelerando, which isn't actually written in the score. So I found that a bit odd, actually. And I thought, at one point, I just thought it was a bit too fast. And it was just a bit too much. Apart from that, I thought the performance was very well performed and very well played. The Ravel, which featured pianist Bruce Leo, I thought was a very sparkling performance. One thing I found a little bit odd wasn't anything to do with the performance, but it was to do with Bruce Leo, and I noticed that he wasn't sitting on a piano stool, he was sitting on a normal chair, which I found a bit odd because usually concert pianists sit on piano stools. Anyways, apart from that, the performance I thought was really good. Bruce Leo had a very sparkling and delicate touch to his playing, which I thought really suited this piece, because the Ravel concerto is very light and delicate, really. The orchestral accompaniment was very quirky and sparkly. Bancroft really got a lot of the features out, like the big trumpet solo in the first movement, and some trombone glissandos in the third movement. I thought a lot of the slower passages, like the middle section in the first movement with the harp glissandos, I thought were really picturesque and tranquil. The second movement was just absolutely gorgeous. I thought the play-in by Bruce Leo was just really well done. And the third movement was just lots of fun to listen to. Bruce Leo played it really well. I think the orchestra really had a good time. I could tell that Bancroft had a really good time with it as well, and it resulted in a very good performance. The encore, unfortunately, I wish I knew the name of the encore, but the encore was just stunning. The play-in was just absolutely mesmerising to watch and listen to. So it was really, really good. The second half, the concert concluded with Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5 in E minor. Now, the Philharmonia have done several recordings of this piece under several different conductors. They've done recordings with, if I can remember rightly, Otto Klemperer, Vladimir Ashkenazy, Riccardo Muti, and Giuseppe Sinopoli. And all of those performances are really, really well done. The Philharmonia, in my opinion, are one of the greatest Tchaikovsky orchestras. I think they just got a really unique sound which really suits Tchaikovsky's music. And some of the playing yesterday was just absolutely outstanding. I thought the overall interpretation with Ryan Bancroft, I thought was good. It was very good. But I thought there were some unusual things here and thereabouts, which I found a little bit unusual or thought could be a bit better at some points. Let's start with the first movement. The first movement, the clarinet solo, I thought was really, really good, really well played, very ominous, gave it its dark atmosphere. I thought some of the string accompaniment at that point could have been a bit more smooth. At some points, I thought the gaps in between the notes were a little bit too long. When we got onto the Allegro con anima in the movement, I thought it started out just a bit too quick, and then it kind of redeemed itself to the usual tempo. So at least it wasn't too quick for the whole time. I thought the playing was just absolutely sumptuous. The strings really gave it their all and stuff. And I thought the brass playing in particular was just absolutely outstanding. It really, really was. The second movement is one of the most gorgeous things Tchaikovsky ever wrote, in my opinion, with that beautiful horn solo, and you get the strings coming in then. But I thought that Ryan could have got the strings to play even more, if that makes sense. What I mean is, I thought he could have made the strings sing. I think they were just playing as such, and they weren't singing. There's a difference with this between playing and singing, and I thought when the strings come in with their moments, they really need to sing, and I didn't really grab that aspect. Some parts of the second movement, like when the Fate motif comes back, was just thrilling. The third movement, the Vals, I had nothing wrong with that at all. It was graceful, it was light, dolce, like it is supposed to be. I thought it was really, really well done. And the fourth movement was just so thrilling and exciting. The beginning of the movement, like the beginning of the first movement, I thought the strings could have been just a bit more smooth. There was still too much of a gap in between the notes, I thought. But the playing was really good. Another little thing, as we get into the Allegro vivace, just before, there's a huge timpani roll. And I didn't get the impact of that timpani roll. I just saw that timpani roll, in my opinion, just fell a little bit flat. I thought it needs to be even bigger to create a more emphasizing impact, if that makes sense. But the rest of the movement was just absolutely phenomenal. I thought the trumpets in particular were just absolutely outstanding. The trombones, the tuba. I thought the strings really gave it their all. And the coda was just absolutely sublime. I thought it was really, really good. And overall, I thought Ryan Bancroft gave a really, really good and thorough interpretation of Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony. It really delivered, culminated into a terrific, outstanding performance overall. It was just those little things which I thought could have been even more outstanding. But some of the playing yesterday reminded me of Riccardo Muti's recording, which was back in 1978 now. And just some of the playing was just absolutely outstanding. So yes, that's my review for yesterday's concert. Thank you so much for watching and hope you all take care.